Hey, they get it done. Nice way to start the weekend in oil country. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Oil Stream Postgame Show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola, YouTube Trev with you. Matt Kassian, our game analyst, will be along for the ride shortly. The Oilers with a 5-0 matinee victory over the Washington Capitals to wrap up a 4-game Eastern Conference road trip. 1-3 is the record for the Oilers on this trip, so they salvage a couple of points after some disappointing losses in Tampa, Florida, and Carolina. They get the one win in Washington. Does it spur them on? How does this transfer over to the 2-game homestand coming up? You tell us, 780-218-9999, or if you're watching on our EST YouTube channel, hit us up in the nasty chat. I see a lot of people already humming along in the nasty chat. We appreciate it as always. And if you're on your way home from work, listening via TuneIn or maybe the audio stream, you could text us 780-218-9999. Let's get Matty Kassian in here, our game analyst, as we'll go through the scoring summary and the game stats, and Cass will help break this bad boy down. In the first period, Evander Kane, his 9th of the year from Draisaitl and Desharnais, gets the party started at 14-10, 1-0 Edmonton. Then Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, great hand-eye coordination from the Nuge. His 4th goal of the season from McDavid and Hyman. They reviewed it. It was a good goal. That one coming at 15-24. And then in the second period on the power play, Bouchard with the bomb. His 5th of the year from McDavid and Nugent-Hopkins, 3-zip oil at 3:44. Then Leon Draisaitl also on the power play. His 7th goal of the season from McDavid and Nugent-Hopkins to make it 4-0 at 4:48. And then for good measure, the Oilers make it 5-0 by the end of the second period. Draisaitl again, 2nd of the night, 8th of the year from Hyman and McDavid at 18:37. Your final 5-0. Edmonton outshoots Washington 35-25. They win the faceoff battle as well, 56.6% to 43.4. The power play, 3 for 4. That's more like it. And the PK, 5 for 5. That's also more like it. Very good to see from the PK. Go 5 for 5. Hits 21-12 in favor of the Caps. Block shots 13-9 also in favor of Washington, as we welcome in our good friend and our game analyst, Matt Kassian. Cass, that was pretty solid through and through. Where do you stack that one up in terms of the 6 wins the Oilers have had this year?
Well, it's their most complete win of the year. First time we've seen them play pretty much a full 60 minutes. They still made some mistakes, Tom. Stuart Skinner bailed them out a couple times. Guys alone in front of the net. Now that was later in the game. He already had a pretty solid lead at that point. So overall, though, like Tom, the crazy thing is, why can't we see this team do this more often? They played a more simplified game. They played a faster game. I'm sure they would say they played a more north-south game. They had extended periods of ozone time where they weren't throwing pucks away. And aside from, one, I think it was a bad read by Connor Brown on when you had I think it was Cody Ceci that pinched that you gave up a 2-on-1. I think that may have been the only true like 2-on-1 you gave up. So you cut down on some of those rush chances against the immediate danger ones. You played well in the offensive zone. You didn't throw pucks away, and your power play finally clicks for a night or an afternoon, whatever you want to call it. So overall, Tom, it probably was their most complete game of the year, which is great. It just took us how long? How many months? 19 games, almost a quarter of the season, or really a quarter of the season to get there.
Cass, if I said to you they defended in layers again today, and the last time I can think back and say they defended in layers would probably be that win in Seattle, where I think we were able to discuss that. But is it fair to say that their defensive side of the game was much more responsible, and they actually had sticks in lanes and were supporting each other and making the Caps go through a couple of guys before they were able to get to the Oilers' slot or even to the net?
I think it started in the offensive zone where they weren't throwing pucks away, which made it easier to be back and to defend better. So I think, it started with the way they played defensively in the offensive zone, not giving up rush chances like crazy against, not giving up odd mans against. Because even in the past when they've defended the odd mans and the puck hasn't gone in the net, they've just been scrambling
Mm-hmm.
in the defensive zone and just trying to recover. But it looked a little more calm today, a little more collected today. But part of that, Tom, I wonder if it's playing with the lead and actually being able to hold the lead, as opposed to, you up a couple goals and you give them right back right away and let a team right back into it immediately. It was like, no, they got the lead and they controlled the lead. Like there was no immediate let up after they scored a couple goals. And thus they were just able to play a lot calmer in the defensive zone.
They had the lead in Tampa, blew it a couple times. Had the lead in Florida, blew it a couple of times. Didn't even have a sniff in that game against Carolina, and then they bounced back with this. I've seen this pop up a few times. And then even, going back to the pregame show, head coach of the Caps, Spencer Carberry, kind of saying it. People have brought up the trap game for the Caps, that this was a trap game for the Caps. We've talked about trap games for the Oilers in years past. I don't completely disagree with those that are saying this was a trap game for the Caps. Where do you come out on that?
Well, possibly. You may not have got the best version of the Capitals that has been on an absolute tear recently.
Right.
But I don't care. Like, was it a trap game? Maybe. Did they have, because of Thanksgiving and they've won a whole lot, reasons to kind of check out? Yeah, they did. They did, but for the Oilers, you still have to be able to convert, because in games that are trap games, the longer you let teams around, the more legs you give them and the more opportunities you give them to get back into the game. Now, the Oilers did a good job scoring first, scoring second, and then scoring third to put it away. So regardless of if it's a trap game for the Washington Capitals or not, the Edmonton Oilers managed to get the job done. And trap game or no, you got a huge 2 points. Now, it doesn't completely salvage the trip, but it's something. It's something. Yeah. And I'll take 2 points over 0.
Yeah, and Cass, we've seen the Oilers spoil opportunities like this, and this year too, as they win at 5-0 over the Washington Capitals. It is the Oil Stream postgame show. Tom Gazzola, Matt Kassian, and YouTube Trev with you. Hit us up on the nasty chat, or you could text us 780-218-9999. Ray-Ban-Man72 says, you can still see them fight their natural tendencies to be offensive and pinch when they should back off. Did you see that, Casser? Were they improved? We didn't see.
Well, they were fighting it. Tells me that they're thinking about it a little bit more.
Good point. Yeah.
Right. They're fighting it. Tells me they're thinking about it a little bit more. So they're at least trying to be aware of it, especially with the lead, which is a good thing.
All right, let's go into the inbox, 780-218-9999. Paul Texan says, had to be in meetings all afternoon, turned you guys back on, and first word I hear, solidarity. Maddie must be having a hell of a day. LOL. Yes, we had a lot of fun with that. He has resigned his post as commissioner of the Edmonton Sports Talk Draft.
On a side note, I texted Dusty about that, and I was like, if you guys ever need an independent arbitrator for those type of rulings, if you are frustrated with the commissioner, whoever the next commissioner ends up being, I don't want to be that, by the way, but I'm happy to be an arbitrator. I think I could be pretty fair.
You would be pretty fair. You're very
Just call me Bill Daly. Call me Bill Daly.
You're Bill Daly. You're stoic.
Yeah, no emotion.
Yeah, exactly. 780-218-9999. I love this from Fat Dan. Says, I will hand feed YouTube Trev Bacons every game if he helps the Oilers play like this. That's for Big Dave. Big Dave bought burgers. Trev, how many did you eat? We had a watch party, Cass. It was a lot of fun.
I know.
I think it was 5, but some people were saying 4, but I'm pretty sure it was 5. It feels like 5.
Are you okay?
Oh yeah. That's
He'll be good. You know what you need to do? You know what you need to do is get a little apple cider vinegar, mix a little bit of that with water, and take a big drink. That'll help. I had to do that. I did that last night because it was American Thanksgiving, so we got together with a bunch of friends who have either lived in the States for a long time or are American with the family, and had a massive meal yesterday. And I definitely ate way too much. We did a smoked turkey and a smoked ham and smoked pork belly burnt ends and smoked mac and cheese and a whole bunch of other stuff. So it was fantastic.
Smoked mac and cheese?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Bring some in next time.
Well,
Sounds
no, I'm eating it
amazing.
myself.
Yeah,
It's
that's
for
fair.
me.
I totally understand. I'm jealous. Okay, this text says, wow, what else can you say? They showed up and looked like a team that had a common purpose, no defensive breakdowns, took advantage of opportunities with no Bouchard blunders, gives a guy hope. We're seeing positivity, and that text is a good example of it, and, understandable. How far does this go, Cass? It is only one win. It does kind of make things somewhat less painful in terms of the overall road trip. They are still 6-12-1. We heard, too, in that Carolina game where we saw, them talking about when the Hurricanes lost to the Oilers early last season in Edmonton, that kind of got them going. How do you think, and we saw smiles on the bench from the Oilers, like we've been talking pretty much all season about bad body language, and this guy looks like he's frowning, that guy looks like he's frowning, this guy must be upset. There was a lot of laughter, a lot of smiles, just the good vibes all around from this group. How far can this go? Is it a good sign? What do you interpret it as? Because there's some people saying, whoa, 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 tap the brakes, and I fully understand that.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the celebration. I like enjoying it, being in the moment. And then at the same time, when to park it and to move ahead and try to take the good elements into the next game. What do you think this all means?
Well, that's going to be the tell, isn't it? Is what do we see on Sunday from this group, right? Like it's great to have it today. I love seeing the smiles, love seeing the happiness, love seeing positive texts from people that are watching, because it's like you finally had something good to watch and we have something good to talk about. It's nice.
We do.
We're talking about a win, a big win, a good win, and not just having to break down all these defensive breakdowns and huge mistakes. We can talk about the good things that they did. But the proof is still in the pudding. Like it was one game that's great. You still overall had a sub 500 road trip, and you got to show me on Sunday. So do I hope that feeling carries forward? Absolutely, I do. Do I hope the good vibes signify a turnaround? Of course I do. Could this be the start of a long run of really good games where they're winning a lot? Yeah, I hope it is. I hope it is. But just like everybody else, I mean, there's a grain of salt there in that we've seen them have decent games and then just drop.
Yeah.
We saw them win a couple games and then come out and lose 3 in a row on this road trip. So, they have to start stringing them together here. And do I want them to carry the confidence over? Absolutely. For the power play, I think that might be my favorite thing for this game, is that top unit power play looked dangerous and converted a whole bunch of times. And that, to me, just for like a Draisaitl and his confidence in scoring goals in the power play is huge, just for the group as a whole. That's really big. And that's what I want to see carry forward. I want to see the attitude carry forward. That's what we need to carry forward. And the attitude of when we have the lead, we can think about playing a little bit better defense, and we can lock things down a little bit more when we have the lead, when we have control, because they, up until this point, they hadn't done a very good job of it on the season. So there's still lots that needs to carry forward, Tommy. And I fully understand where some people are, not on the playoff bandwagon yet again.
Skeptical, some are, and that's understandable. Goodbye, Lieutenant Eric. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. LTE putting on a show during the watch party. Great guy. And we thank everybody who tuned into the watch party as well. 780-218-9999. Nasty chat going strong. Tom Gazzola, Matt Kassian, YouTube Trev on the Oil Stream postgame show. Edmonton with a 5-0 victory over Washington, returning home to take on the Anaheim Ducks Sunday night. Randy Texan says, plan the parade, Tommy. Get your Oilers Cup futures before the rip. Best part of today was that Ovechkin didn't score, almost scored, got called back. Another one of those questionable face-off drops by a linesman. Those guys.
Those are going to happen.
Yeah, those
are going to happen. Yeah, those are going to happen. Neil Garrity comes in to the nasty chat, says, do we only break down games when we lose? No, we don't. But it's a different attitude.
Yeah.
And different environment when you win, because you're able just to look at some of the good things. So some of the good things we can start.
Yes.
Let's start with that Evander Kane goal. good puck control, player goes to the net. So Leon Draisaitl in the corner, spinning off of a defender, using that big body, and then making a nice pass to Evander Kane, who battles in front of the net. And when that one went in, I just kind of I said I was actually sitting next to Chris Joseph at the time, Oilers alumni. We were sitting, and I said, Joe, everyone I hope watched that on the bench and looks up and watches it again, because that's what you need. You need those in front of the net, like those type of goals, that simplicity. Those we're going to battle and spin off of guys down low, hold on to the puck, make a good play to the front of the net with bodies in front of the net.
Yes.
That's exactly what they need. And you followed up not that long later with Ryan Nugent Hopkins, again, a play where you have puck possession, you have a shot to the net, you have a good forecheck that turns the puck over, you get a recovery, and same thing, you have bodies in front of the net. So Ryan Nugent Hopkins finds himself alone there, parks himself in front of the net, and is able to make a great play to bat it out of the air and put it in, and that gets you started. Those weren't the power play goals. The power play goals, as I said, the success of the power play is one of the things that I hope really breaks this team from the funk. But on top of that, just scoring 2 5-on-5 goals that were dirty goals. They weren't pretty passing plays. They weren't, like, look at us go tic-tac-toe and walk in off the rush. It was, let's have a good forecheck, turn some pucks over, get the puck to the net with bodies at the net. And there have been far too many times this year when we've just talked over and over about the Oilers, being too perimeter and shots to perimeter, or when they do get shots, there's no one in front of the net. And the Edmonton Oilers today, they got to the front of the net. And to me, I mean, that's a huge part of winning this hockey game, which is a great thing.
SJ, not in the Kootenays, says, fine performance against a completely disinterested team. Ovi was the worst player on the ice. 1 in a row is not a streak. No, we're not going to give them streak status, that's for sure. The 3 wins in a row, that was a streak. That was legit, even though they got lucky in that second Seattle game. And then they followed that up with a 3-game losing streak. So understandable, SJ in the Kootenays, or not in the Kootenays, where you're coming from on that one. This text says, I really hope Brown starts to get going. He just doesn't seem like he knows what he's doing out there. 1 goal might change that. Connor Brown today, Cass, anything noticeable to you about him? Did you catch a glimpse of him? Outside of him getting the point from the guys off that set play that was created in junior, apparently.
Well, hey, maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's right? It. Something positive to happen for him, because there hasn't been a lot of positive.
No.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't overly noticeable again today. Again, I think a bad read on the one play when he's a third forward back that gives up a 2-on-1. But it's, that was the biggest thing for him in his game that stood out to me today. But I'm hoping, that drawn up play, it's not like he executed it, but it was his idea. So hopefully that builds something. Because, I mean, it was another just kind of average their game for him. And it would be great. Like, I can't imagine when he actually does score, like that's going to be huge. And hopefully he can find a way to do that, and then find a way to just play better after that.
More
but
effective.
Can we talk about more effective? Yeah. Can we talk about what this does for Stuart Skinner? I think Penner's Pancakes was in on the nasty chat and said,
absolutely,
what does this do for Stuart Skinner? So Tommy, I want to hear your thoughts on this. What do you think for a team where the goaltending has struggled, and I still don't peg their record on goaltending very much. I mean, to me, it's still at the bottom of the list for reasons that this team has struggled this year. It's a reason, but it's not the reason. What do you think this shutout does for Stuart Skinner?
For him, I think it just solidifies his mindset. I know that Washington isn't a team that scores a ton of goals. That's fine. But they do have some offensive weapons. Ovechkin, obviously. Tom Wilson can be one. They didn't have Kuznetsov. Oshie went down in a weird circumstance and all of that. But when it comes to Stuart Skinner and his mindset, I really think that this just gives him that little boost of confidence. He looked solid the whole night. He was absorbing pucks. The good chances that the Washington Capitals did get, he was up for the challenge. He wasn't swimming around in his crease. So, Cass, I think this is a confidence builder for him. I think it gives the team a little bit of confidence as well, because they know that their guy is starting to feel it a little bit. I don't really put too much into the fact that maybe it was a trap game for the Caps. The Oilers were able to get it done, and it was a feel-good win. So I think they'll feel good about Stuart Skinner and be like, all right, we can rely on him, or we know that game is there. It exists this season. And so I think it helps build in the reassurance that this guy still is capable. And that was a perfect example of that. To me, Cass, it was just a thorough, solid effort from Skinner. Stood the fort, didn't get overly tested, but when he did get tested a little bit, he was right there to make the save outside of the Ovechkin goal that didn't count because the faceoff was unfairly dropped.
Yep. No, and he made a couple saves. I mean, a few times, guys left alone in front of the net, and comes up with a big glove save on one. And I think there was another as well. I can't remember who was kind of left alone in front a little bit. So he makes those saves too, which I think is big. Even when they had enough of a lead that if a puck goes in, they were fine, or they should have been fine. And he found a way to do that. So again, just like the power play, I think it's a big thing for him from a confidence standpoint to be able to stand in, get the shutout, and hopefully just build forward with that, to have confidence moving forward with that. And just like with the rest of the team, and the proof in the pudding is going to be the next games. What do you do on Sunday?
Right.
How do you approach that game? What team do we see? What Stuart Skinner do we see? How do we see them play? But sometimes it just takes a moment. Joe Segreto in on the Nasty Chat says building confidence is a slow process, good step in the right direction. I absolutely agree. It is a process. It isn't necessarily off one moment or one game.
That's true.
However, shutouts, just like a guy that has had a goal scoring drought that is able to put one in, sometimes there are single moments where players can turn around and wipe the slate clean in a lot of ways. So
building block.
Building block. So hopefully it's a really big one, a really, really big building block, because you need a big one. You need like a double-sized Lego block here. Can't be just like one of those little flat pieces that doesn't really give you any height or stability. But hopefully this is one that actually starts to amount to something.
Yeah, and it's a reference point for him too. Like, you hear about golfers when you make a great shot, and you hear people go, well, remember that swing. Remember what you did there on that swing. I feel like that game that we saw from Stuart Skinner tonight was that type of performance where if not that he'll be lost, but I'm sure at some point during the season his mind might go and his confidence is a little bit shaken. And he goes, well, what did I do good in a game where I had success? You could reference this game and be like, oh yeah, I remember being very calm. I remember how I was tracking. So that to me is a marker in the season for Stuart Skinner that could be a reference point, and he could look back to when he needs to build up his confidence or something to remind him what he's capable of. That is in the top of his, or at the front of his mind this season. That's how I would describe that. Norman, a Combine text in, says Skinner looked relieved at the end of the game. Very different body language from Norman, a Combine, who ends the text with the hashtag solidarity. Thank you, Norm. Appreciate that. Dirty Curdy texts in, says, Eureka! The Oilers, with season hanging by splintered thread, decide to show up with urgency and play a full 60. Now, if Brown and McLeod can start to produce rather than look like Chaz Michaels, Jimmy McElroy duet out there. That's from Dirty Curdy with the, was it Blades of Glory reference?
Mm-hmm.
Blades of Glory. I like it. 780-218-9999. Let's go to the Nasty Chat really quickly as the Oilers get a 5-0 win. Hey, boys, do you know who Leon was pointing at after the power play goal? Yes, that was Connor Brown. Penner's Pancakes also adds, this chat is so easy to read on win days. Not going to rip through a mile a minute. Yeah. And then Captain Crutch says, Ducks have lost 5 in a row. I believe Sunday is another must win. How do you look at that game, Cass?
Like at the game on Sunday?
Yeah.
Well, is a crucial must win. I mean, you want to slowly crawl your way back into the possible wild card conversation. I mean, that's massive. You have a team in front of you that's dropped a couple games. I don't think you have any games on hand. No, just double check. You don't have any games on hand in them. You're 5 points back of the Ducks, and they've started to struggle and come back down to earth to what we expected the Ducks to be. And for Edmonton, I mean, these are the teams you have to beat. these are the teams you have to beat. Conference teams here, the Western Conference games are absolutely critical. They're absolutely critical. Like you win here, all of a sudden you are only 3 points back.
Yep.
And that of the Ducks.
Of the
Anyways, you
Ducks.
still have a lot of other
Yeah,
teams.
they've
A lot of other teams you got to crawl over here. But
Yeah.
if you want to hope of it, these are the must-win games. And really, it's almost like every game's a must-win at this point for the next little while.
Yeah.
But hey, you got to start winning against Western Conference teams that are in front of you, and this is one of them.
Yeah, they've got a bunch of Western Conference teams in front of them coming up. Obviously, a lot of Western Conference teams generally in front of the Oilers so far this season.
There's a lot of
the
them.
Ducks, set their sights on the Ducks. Pacific Division battles are already crucial, which to a certain extent is ridiculous. But this season for the Oilers as a whole to this point has been ridiculous. A bit of a reprieve from that tonight as they get a win, 5-0 over the Washington Capitals. YouTube, Trev, any thoughts? And do we have video ready to go after that win?
Yeah, I got Stuart Skinner and Leon Draisaitl coming at you pretty soon here, but just what a great afternoon. It was unreal. Aside from the watch party, it was so nice to see, just what Cass said, like a full 60 effort. Yeah, there was some chances that they did let, they didn't look good for some parts, but I mean, for the majority, you can't complain. That was a huge dub. The boys definitely needed it. And as far as their confidence goes, like I can't remember the last time seeing the players smile as much as they were. They were buzzing. As for Connor McDavid, he was looking we were talking about it in the watch party. That was easily McDavid's, best game of the year for sure. He was skating way more. Just a solid effort from the boys, and just build from it. You build from it one shift at a time, one game at a time, and that's all you can do really. So it was just awesome, and thank God. It's so nice to talk about a post game win. Like we've been dealing with a lot of post game losses lately, so it's refreshing. We're repeating ourselves a lot. You can only talk about all their continuous problems so much, right? They're not learning from anything, so it was nice to see them finally learn from their past mistakes, and just a solid 60 minutes. So it was great. I cannot complain at all. It was a great afternoon.
This one from Glitter says Vegas Tuesday night is going to be an exciting night, and then I don't know what that one is. Says, huge win today. This is the EST turning point of the season. Big smiles throughout the lineup tonight. 4-point game for McDavid. Don't count the Oilers out yet. All right. Cass, do you want to add anything, or do you want to get to some clips?
Let's get to some clips,
All
Tom.
right.
Let's get to some clips. Let's hear them speak after a win that was a good win. I want to see what the body language looks like.
Okay, Trev, what do you got for us?
This is Stuart Skinner after his shutout win over the Washington Capitals.
So what's it like posting an NHL shutout?
Feels good. It's always a nice feeling to get a shutout. Huge props to the guys in front of me. I will say on the PK, there's some huge blocks, especially in the third period where we're up 5-rep and we could easily not be in the lane. So it takes a lot of guts for the guys to get some block shots. That goes out to CC, Cooley, Vinny, Doc, all the guys. So yeah, it feels good. It's we played the right way all night.
Third career shutout for you, but your first win of this road trip. What did you see in front of you that allowed your team to see the success you had today?
I think we played with a lot of speed. We hemmed them in their zone for a good amount of time. And yeah, whenever the puck came back to our end, I think our forwards did a great job on, skating back, tracking back. That takes a lot of selflessness. So that was very important. And the D, great gaps all night.
I know this team has always believed it can play a complete game, but it hasn't for a while. To play 60 minutes, complete game all the way through, what's that worth to this club?
It's huge. Anytime you can get a full 60 minutes, it means you're doing things right for the whole game, obviously. Being able to play that way is really big. That's how you do win games. So it's a big one for us for sure.
What can you say about the mental toughness going and being able to bounce back from Wednesday's game and then performing like you did tonight?
Yeah, sometimes it's harder than maybe it looks. Sometimes you know exactly how you're going to show up the next day. For this one, it was just, being able to rest, kind of throw that one away. And yeah, just knowing who I am, knowing my game, and just sticking to it. And I think that was big for me. It's nice after getting pulled in the first few minutes to get a shutout. It really feels good.
We only see Washington twice a year, so one of the main storylines for us was Ovechkin being 67 goals away from the goal record. How hard is it to stop a Alex Ovechkin shot?
It's tough. He's a heck of a player. There's a reason why he's got so many goals. I said to somebody else, I got pretty lucky with the linesman calling that for me. So Ovechkin ended up scoring. It was a heck of a shot, and then they called it off. So big thanks to the linesman for me. But yeah, he's a heck of a player. He's always coming around trying to say that he's going to score, and it's always fun playing against him.
You guys head home now. I think you have like 8 of 9 at home. Do you feel like there's an opportunity here now to maybe gain some traction going forward?
Absolutely. Especially getting some wins at home. I think it's going to be really important for us just to gain that traction, gain that momentum. So again, it's we're not really looking at that. We're looking more at just playing the way that we played tonight and to keep that moving forward. And that starts in practices and leads to a game.
You and Charlie Lindgren have the 2 best goalie mustaches.
Saros is up there too. Saros has a good muzzy too. I appreciate that though. I've been working on it for a long time, so I appreciate that.
There's Stuart Skinner with the shutout tonight. Big night for him. He makes 25 saves in the victory, talking about the mental relief. And yeah, he has a formidable mustache. YouTube Trevs is coming in nicely as well. I want to throw this at you, Cass. Comes in via the nasty chat. Elliot says, has Cass been on a team when the group is having fun versus when they are not? Seems like a few laughs and smiles go a long way. Maybe you could speak to that a little bit, Cass.
Yeah, no, they absolutely do. Again, like you have to think about confidence isn't always just a one-time thing where one good thing happens and you turn it around. But just like, it's the same thing as if you really don't like going to your job every day. If you have a job that you can't stand, it's a lot harder to go in and put in a really good effort than if you have a job that you enjoy, that you like, that you can go in and there's smiles and there's laughter and there's general enjoyment. It's way easier to perform. You get way more excited about being there. You get way more excited about what you're doing and contributing and building and being a part of. So it's the same thing. Really, it's the same thing now. It's in a microscope environment because we all watch and not everyone is always looking over your shoulder, whatever you're doing for a job. But it's the same sort of mentality in that, smiles and laughter and being able to be like go an incredible long way. Now it has to be appropriate smiles and appropriate laughter, which I think it is after a 5-0 win. You want to savor that a little bit when it's been a challenge. For Stuart Skinner, as you said already, Tommy, you want to have this as like a moment that you remember,
reference point,
that you can look back on, a reference point. And for the team, you want to have it too, because they're even if this is the moment, Tom, and they turn it around, you're going to go through a stretch at some point, most likely, where you lose a game or you lose 2 games, and you want to be able to reference back to things. And you don't want groups to be too light to not care, a level of like laughter and smiles that you don't care. But after a big win, after you've really struggled for an extended period of time, it's healthy. It's healthy to have some of that excitement.
Genuine, healthy, good to see. Finally. Because we haven't seen it enough from this group. A guy who can show his emotion on the ice and then in the locker room at times and gets knocked for it. Nice to see him smiling as well tonight. Couple of goals for him. He's going to speak next. Let's hear from Leon Draisaitl.
You guys demonstrated in your team game that allowed you to find the win column again.
I think we just simplified it a little bit. I thought we early on put them on their heels a little bit, and that set the precedent for the rest of the game. So all in all, I just think that we started well and just kept it simple.
What can you say about Stuart Skinner? He records his 3rd career shutout and the performance that he had tonight.
I thought he was good. Made some great timely saves for us. Thought the team in front of him was really well. Was really good as well.
Can you tell us the story about the point to the bench once you scored that 4th goal?
Obviously, Connor and I, we've scored a couple goals like that before, and Brownie a couple days ago, he dared to say that he invented the play in juniors, I guess. So we've been dying to score one of those here, and obviously it was great timing, and kudos to Brownie for inventing it.
Leon, from a leadership standpoint, of course, you guys snap a 3-game losing streak here. You, McDavid, and Nugent-Hopkins lead the way with 10 points combined. How much do you put on your shoulders as a leadership core to get your team out of a slump like that?
Yeah, a lot. We got a lot of guys in here that care a lot. And I think sometimes that's a little misunderstood towards the outside, which obviously is unfortunate. But we care a lot. We want to win in here. And has there been times or games where it hasn't gone our way as a leadership group? Yeah, of course. Have we been at our best all year? Absolutely not. But we a lot of pride in this room, and tonight was a good step.
How much does this feel better? Does this make this feel going home after the way the first 3 games?
Yeah, it feels good. It's always nice to get a win on your to finish a road trip. And, obviously, one good game for us, but this league's about obviously doing it over and over and over again. So, just looking to go home, reset, and put another good game together.
Are there pieces from this road trip, this win and the losses, that lead you to believe you can do it consistently? Because you, as a team, have done it before.
I certainly think so. I think both first periods in Tampa and Florida were really good periods, and just kind of relapsed a little bit after that. But a lot of tight games. Obviously, would have liked the goals against to be a little lower. But again, tonight's a good step, and I'll try to build off it.
Chris talked this morning about playing a 60-minute game. So after you mentioned those first periods, it was important to build on that first period tonight.
Yeah, for sure. That's what we talked about in here, just building off of it. We've played a lot of 20-minute, really good 20-minute hockey games this year, but in this league that's unfortunately not enough. So thought tonight all around was really good.
Draisaitl, a couple of goals for him tonight, and a big performance. He among a few others, as the Oilers win it 5-0 over the Washington Capitals. All right, Cass. So, pardon me. Oh, I thought I was going to sneeze there. My bad. All right, Cass from Draisaitl there. He's joking a bit about the Connor Brown thing, and then he was smiling, and he was talking about the positives that come out of this. What did you see from him? What are you seeing from 97? And you heard Tony there asking about the leadership element of them trying to lead the charge in terms of getting this thing back on track.
Well, I haven't ever questioned that they care. I don't doubt that they care. I haven't doubted that for a second. I know there's guys in that room and in the entire room. I know they want to win. They want to win and they want to care, but they've along the way lost their identity and how to do that and how to do it well. And amongst a number of other factors that have gone into them losing. I completely agree with them. They played faster tonight. They played in straight lines. They played faster. And for McDavid and Draisaitl, it looked like they had some juice back. Like it looked like they had some jump back. It looked like they had some legs back. And, maybe that's just having some success in the power play. Maybe that's just pucks going in where they haven't been at times before. But you got to keep doing it. You got to keep doing it here. So, I mean, again, really good things. I'm happy that they had something to laugh about and to enjoy with Connor Brown as a group. And even in the dressing room, I mean, that's something that guys are going to be laughing about after the game. You're going to be laughing about it on the plane. Like that's, again, you want to look at little moments. I mean, that's a little moment that, stack it on the pile to try to build something with. So it's good. You're going to take a lot of good stuff from this game. Now you just can't forget it and you can't abandon it. I mean, the other little things that you did defensively, being a little bit more defensively responsible, like those things you have to remember too, not just the fun moments. So again, it's great to see him enjoying himself a little bit more. It's great that it wasn't like a big negative post-game press conference for him where he's getting asked really hard questions that you don't want to talk about and you don't want to answer. And that's good. You need that too. You need those moments of levity and you need those moments to be able to build on and have a good win and play a full 60 minutes. Because as he said, you don't win games by playing 20 minutes. And they've had some really good 20-minute periods, which is part of why the whole, I don't want to say just losing streak, but the whole start of the season has been infuriating for a lot of people, is because it's like you see these little spurts and they just haven't been able to do it consistently. And they do tonight, and hopefully they do it on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday, it's a Anaheim Ducks team, 9-10-0 on the season through 18 games, 474 winning percentage. They've lost 4 in a row. Who do the Ducks have today? Today they are playing in LA. Or no, they're at home against the Kings. So I mean, LA's been playing well this season. You would assume that it might be a 5-game losing streak by the time the Ducks roll into Edmonton. What are you looking for? What are you looking at for Sunday's matchup between the Ducks and the Oilers?
60-minute straight-line effort. 60-minute straight-line effort. You know, it was a simpler game they played tonight, and they were faster and better because of it. Have to bring the same thing.
Yeah.
Have to, regardless of what happens in Anaheim with LA tonight, you have to bring that same game.
Cass, fantastic work as always, my friend. Enjoy the rest of your day and your Saturday, and we'll see you on the pre- and post-game show on Sunday.
Absolutely. Make sure you smash that subscribe button and that thumbs up if you haven't already.
Almost
Make sure
at
you do
6,000,
it.
Cass.
Make sure you do it. Make sure you do it.
Yep.
Do it.
Good stuff, Cass. There you go. Our game analyst, Matt Kassian, helping us break down the Oilers' 5-0 win in Washington this afternoon. If you're listening to us on TuneIn or our audio stream, thank you as always. If you want to text us, 780-218-9999. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, appreciate it very much. And like Cass said, smash that thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet to Edmonton Sports Talk, please do. We appreciate that so much. This one says Tommy Kings beat the Ducks 5-2. I didn't update my thing. Let me double check that. I'm updating my scores here. Did I miss that already? Yes, they did. Thank you for the update. The Kings did knock off the Ducks 5-2. That game happened earlier in the day. I hadn't refreshed my media site scoreboard tickers. So let's go through the out-of-town scores just to get you up to speed. Detroit also winning 5-2. This time it's Boston who they had a loss to. That one in Boston. The Rangers knock off the Flyers 3-1 in Philly. In Chicago, it was 4-3 Hawks over the Leafs. In overtime, the Devils fall 2-1 to the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Devils on home ice for that one. St. Louis gets spanked 8-3 by the Nashville Predators. The Oilers hand the Caps the 5-0 loss. And then, yes, indeed, the Ducks do fall 5-2 to the LA Kings this afternoon. 2-2 in a shootout, Habs and Sharks. In the first period, no score between Buffalo and Pittsburgh. Then later on this evening, you've got Ottawa hosting the New York Islanders. Carolina welcomes in the Tampa Bay Lightning. Florida's got the Winnipeg Jets. And then later on, it's Dallas hosting the Calgary Flames. Minnesota welcomes the Colorado Avalanche to town. And the late game tonight, we'll see the Seattle Kraken and Vancouver Canucks from Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle. Did you see the Seattle Kraken and Golden Knights Winter Classic jerseys? Trev?
Yeah, I did. It was the one was leaked on Hello Hockey, which you and Belzy, we talked about.
We put it up. Yeah.
So
the Utah Jazz.
They leaked it, so that was kind of interesting. I don't mind that one, but as for the Vegas Golden Knights,
You don't like the Golden Knights one?
Nah, I think they missed the mark on that one. I don't know. I think it was just a little too bland, in my opinion. I like a little, just it's the Vegas Golden Knights. I feel like you could do so much more. And I don't know, the logo, I think it looks a little wonky.
The V
kind of looks like it's flipping a bird or something like that. Yeah. But
they tried, at least they tried something different. Like, you don't have a ton of hockey history or anything to go back to really with Vegas. I did like their last reverse retros.
Yeah.
That they glowed in the dark.
Yeah, those are cool. I like that.
Those were neat. And they had like the Stardust Hotel Resort font and all of the tie-in and all of that. That was kind of cool. By the way, the fact that the Kraken had their jerseys leaked by the Utah Jazz, Elliot Friedman pointed this out in his 32 Thoughts, was deliberate. The owner of the Jazz is like ready for an NHL team.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering
if
if
like
there's
Salt Lake is going to get a team.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be awesome, honestly. Yeah, I was always wondering if they were going to get in trouble or like what the whole deal was there. Like that was okay. That makes a lot more sense because there was nothing revealed or anything like that. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense then. Oh,
Yeah.
good for them.
Yeah, interesting. Just a little tidbit there. So 15 games on the score or the schedule tonight. Out of town scores. You are now up to speed. Thank you for pointing out that the Ducks and Kings game had also concluded. Carmen asks, Tommy, where is the next watch party? Well, Boston Pizza. We just had our last one at BP's the other day. We'll do one next month. We do one once a month at BP. I'm not sure if that's set up just yet. And then we did an EST watch party today. That was just kind of because it was just scheduling, because the game today started at 1, right in the middle of our programming, and we just decided to try something different. People had recommended and suggested it. And actually, a bunch of people, I think there's a lot of people watching. I don't know what our listenership was, audio-wise. I think did you not turn off the audio stream by accident?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I didn't touch
I'm
the
not-
monitor or
I'm not putting
anything
it on
like
you.
that, but I did bump something because, yeah, Maddie gave me a little bit of trouble there, but no, it's all good. He fixed it as per usual. But, yeah, the watch party was just unreal. If you
cool.
guys, we're obviously very busy, and it kind of just works out whenever the Oilers, we can fit it in, and today it worked, so that was just unreal. The food was amazing.
Great food.
And the company, the crew was good, so was the brew, and it was just unreal. So, great time.
6 o'clocker lager is in stores, according to Scott Laurie from Sobeys Safeway Liquor. On the 30th of November, we are going to have an unveiling party at Alley Cat on the 29th in the evening, I believe it is. It is open to the public. We will be there on hand to sample the new 6 o'clocker lager. And you could check out the 6 o'clocker lager at Sobeys and Safeway Liquor stores. It's really good. Just through and through a solid, clean, crisp, tasty lager. And we look forward to making sure that you get to enjoy it as well. All right. Keep those texts coming in. Elliot Lewis says, did your game notes suffer because of the watch party today, Tommy? Less thorough, but they didn't suffer, and it was a pretty good game overall for the Oilers. So, no, not that big of a deal, Elliot. Really appreciate that. Let's get to some texts as well, 780-218-9999. Fat Dan says, it's not so much specifically the outcome that can change things for them moving forward, but the smiles on their faces, having fun, a big weight off of their shoulders, mental health and mindset, baby. That's from Fat Dan. This one says, Tom, Sunday is a must-win because Tuesday is against the division powerhouse. Losing Sunday, then dealing with the opponent Tuesday is a big hill. Depth of Nuge defense. CB Radio Guy says, this game can't be a turning point. They did play much better all around, but the Caps played awful. Can't be too excited about this win. I'm okay with being excited about the win because it was pretty thorough from an Oilers standpoint. To get overly dramatic about it, I understand. Like, take it with a grain of salt. The Caps had a bad afternoon. Absolutely. But the fact that the Oilers finally took advantage of a situation like that, spoiled a party, you're looking at that going, well, finally. Jeez. Like, it was teed up for them, and they finally took advantage. Trap game, whatever you want to call it from a Caps point of view. I understand. I understand the logic behind that. But the Oilers did play a pretty thorough game, probably their best 60-minute performance. The Caps were on a heater. Was it 8-1-1 in their last 10? So it's a good win for the Oilers. Does it change everything? No, but does it maybe set things back into motion in the right direction? Perhaps. Let's see how they respond and how they build off of it on Sunday against the Anaheim Ducks. Brandon from Windsor texts and says, are we back? Are we back? I'm on the fence. Yeah, and that's fine. Being on the fence about it's fine, but it is a good sign. Building block, like we said earlier. This text says, what an afternoon. I watched the first 2 periods at work, so I got paid to watch the Oilers power play score. Now I get to crack a beer and watch the draft from this morning. There was so much drama in the draft this morning. I'm sorry you had to go. You must be traumatized, Trev.
Yeah, that was a lot to deal with. But just the behind the scenes footage. I'm gonna put together a pretty funny video this weekend. But yeah, regarding me being commish, no, I can't imagine that'll ever be the case. I'm too friendly, and I do not fit the bill to be a commish for sure. The boys would walk all over me if they suggested anything. There's a good chance I will never say no, and I'd probably just say yes. So you might as well have no commish as opposed to having me as the commish. But yeah, definitely tune into that. I think Maddie said the morning show this morning with the Nielsen show, we had just over like 600 chats in the nasty chat, and then for the draft, it was over 2,000
Really?
chats. Yeah, like people were just buzzing the whole time. So definitely watch that if you haven't already. It was a lot of fun, a lot of controversy, and it was just great content all around.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, we'll let you know when we do another one of those. I'm sure we will. It was a lot of fun, and it seemed to go really well. Even the audio stream, I think, probably did okay. People were saying it was all right. That last text, by the way, came in from our pal Vance Vander Van. Babbage Stash texts in and says, I watched today's game at Battle River Brewing in Camrose. I live in St. Albert. Does this mean I need to drive out there every game going forward? Babbage Stash, that just depends on how superstitious you might be. Are we getting any more post-game clips from any?
No, they're taking their. Yeah, okay. I don't know. The first two came out pretty quick, and now they're taking their time. So.
We only have a few minutes left anyway. We've got about 10 minutes to go. So if you want to get a text in, 780-218-9999 or via the nasty chat, let us know your thoughts. Elliot also adds, Desharnais being hard on Ovechkin was a turning point. Ovi missed the check. Desharnais talks some smack. Aiden says Oilers have played 4 good periods in a row for the first time all season. Yeah, we'll give them the third period in that last game in Carolina, but I wouldn't, as we said earlier, I wouldn't put too much into that third period because the Canes just sat back. The game was well in hand, and they were just mopping up, basically. If you missed it, 5-0, the Oilers win it over the Washington Capitals. Your goal scorers tonight, Evander Kane got the party started to make it 1-0, 14-10 into the first from Draisaitl and Desharnais. Then Ryan Nugent-Hopkins bats one out of the air for his 4th of the season. 2-0 Edmonton at that point. That goal coming at 15:24 in the second period off of face-off on the power play. Evan Bouchard with a clapper, his 5th of the season from McDavid and Nugent-Hopkins to make it 3-0. Then Leon Draisaitl scores his 7th of the season from McDavid and Nugent-Hopkins as well. And to make it 5-0, Leon Draisaitl, his 8th of the year, 2nd of the night from Hyman and McDavid also on the power play. Shots on goal, 35-25 in favor of the Oilers. Face-offs, 56.6% to 43.4. Power play goes 3 for 4, so that's good to see as it looks to do a little bit better. It had fallen into the middle of the pack recently, and the PK, which has struggled all season and up until today, had given up a goal in all but 5 games thus far. So 13 of 18 games, goes 5 for 5, which is a good sign and crucial. Although the Caps power play is putrid this season. It came in at 6.7%, obviously 32nd in the National Hockey League. It clicked, I think it was like 3 for what here? I had it in my game notes. The Caps power play this season was 3 for 45 heading into the game. It's 3 for 50 now. Yeah, Trev is laughing over there.
No, that's just horrendous.
Yeah,
you
so
just watching it, like it's that used to be, if I'm not mistaken, one of the best power plays.
Lethal, and it has good players on it still.
It should be. I think is what they're missing for sure is a puck carrier. They do a lot of passing, but there's, I think that's what separates the Oilers and some of the best power plays right now is just having someone driving the play, skating with the puck, and just being shifty. It just alters the defense a lot. And we were talking about it. Ovi just his controller is just not. It's not turned on at all. It's unplugged. Battery's dead. He doesn't move at all. And when they're not, no, it's just it's so stagnant. Yeah. It doesn't look good at all. So yeah, no, not good numbers.
All right, let's do what we need to do and take care of some business as we get to the player of the game. Brought to you by Damon Bunting Remax Elite. Damon Bunting, consistent, top producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area and among RE/MAX Realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. He's community-driven, understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or at Damon Bunting Real Estate on Instagram. YouTube, Trev, do your thing, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, well, what a sight for sore eyes. A breath of fresh air, if you will. It was just so nice to see, and just we couldn't have asked for a better day to have the watch party. And it just right from the get-go, when the Oilers were rolling, which they were today, it was just so nice to see. Not only were they able to just play a consistent 60, they were able, when they're leading and when they're playing good, they're able to roll all lines, and that's kind of what we've seen all night. And so it's nice when you're able to distribute the ice time evenly amongst all forwards, defense. It's just, it's not a blender out there. So that was just super encouraging, and here's hoping the boys build from that. there could be a lot of players that get the player of the game today, and I was going to give it to Stewie. A huge honorable mention to Stewie. He was, obviously a shutout. He should very well get it, but I've given him, I think, 3 so far this year. So.
Yes.
I've given a lot of goalies some love, even though they haven't really done so well. But Leon Draisaitl, another honorable mention, 2 goals tonight. But for sure, Connor McDavid, he was lights out tonight. 4 apples on the night, a +1, 3 power play points as well, and then 2 shots on net. So he looked good. It'd be nice to see him. He's still being very passive. I thought a few plays tonight. If it was McDavid of last year, he would have definitely shot them in those plays for sure. But he was given way more space tonight. He was skating with the puck way more. He was looking shifty. He was just creating plays throughout the whole game, and that's what the Oilers fans have been so used to seeing for the last 8-9 years. So Connor McDavid 100% is your Damon Bunting player of the game. Out of you, Connor.
Nicely done. That is the player of the game, like Trev said, brought to you by Damon Bunting Remax Elite. If you're looking to get into the market or we're trying to sell your place, go to DamonBunting.com or visit his Instagram at DamonBunting Real Estate. All right, let's wrap up with some texts as we get set to say good night and send you off into your weekend. This text says, "Hey, Tommy, first period was good. Got a couple in the paint goal. Second period, they got timely power play goals, something they have been short on, and solid. Third, Washington didn't have much." I can't disagree with that text at all. It's a good way to sum up the game in a couple of sentences for sure. Donnie M says, "TG watch party was fun to watch. Only issue was Wannick's mic was bad, and G&T for Dusty was funny." From Donnie M. Thanks, Donnie. Appreciate that. Blame Wannick. If anything goes wrong, just blame Matthew. That's all I'm going to say. We're not happy with him after what he did during the draft, and then after the draft, resigning his position. Sorry to spoil it if you didn't watch it, like Van der Van was going to. But he was a hot tamale all day long. This one said 3 for 4 on the power play. That's the difference. They have the same team as last year, and the power play makes it or breaks it for this team. Keep it rolling, boys. 6-game heater could change the season. Yeah, they need a 6-game heater. They need anything, just a heater of any kind, to get back into motion, get the good juju going, and to get rolling again, because it has been a dud of a season by and large for sure in 2023-2024. Austin Hockey says, "I like Nuge with McDavid today. Keep these lines the same for a few games. Don't change anything. Let the guys find consistency and chemistry. That would be good." And it's funny, Austin Hockey, bring that up, because going into Chris Knobloch's second game behind the bench, that was something that was asked of the players going into the game. They're like, "Oh, you're same lines. How good is it to build consistency?" And they're like, "Yeah, we like playing with one another and to know each other's rapport out there." I'm paraphrasing, obviously. And then I think halfway through that game, the lines have been jumbled up. So, yeah. The lines have been in a blender with this team for the last, 6-7 years. I think Todd McClellan he liked pairs in his forward units and then would always rotate the third player. I think that was the closest thing to consistency with lines. I can't remember Ken Hitchcock's time. I feel like he was jumbling them up all the time as well. And certainly Dave Tippett was too. Jay Woodcroft tinkered all the time. And we've seen Chris Knobloch do it early on in his tenure. But maybe they find some chemistry here and the right combinations, and they go with them for a little bit. We shall see. Indeed. So it's a 5-0 Oilers victory over the Washington Capitals. Jason wants to know, YouTube Trev, you still hungry?
Not a chance. No, I'm definitely full for the night. Yeah, I definitely, if there was I think what it was, if the live chat or if the watch party got 200 likes, I'd eat one more, but it didn't get to that. That was only if it did come to that, then I would have. But no, I tapped out, and it was just Eric, man. Like, he just kept putting them on my lap, and I'm like, and I don't like saying no, so I'm like, oh, okay.
Smiling at me when he was doing it.
Yeah, he's like, haha, this is so funny. Yeah, I was just like, oh gosh, they keep coming, so I'm gonna keep eating them. So yeah, that's what happened there.
You're
I don't know, man. I just didn't want to say no.
I just hope your stomach is okay tonight.
Oh, yeah, we'll be good.
All right. Gordon Huff says, long day, Tom. Well done. Thanks, Gordon. Appreciate it very much. Couple texts to wrap up. Donnie M, here. Best draft ever. Donnie, it was certainly something. And then Norman of Combine gets the last word of the show. Says, I listened to it in the Shanks parking lot. I believe that was Lieutenant Eric's watch party location for 5 minutes, adds Norman of Combine. It was probably the best overall draft. Great picks, terrible picks, controversial, people resigning. Wow. Norman of Combine. Appreciate it, Norm. To everyone who tuned in all day long, watch party, lock shop, oil stream pre and post, and, of course, the Nielsen show and the draft. We appreciate it, and we can't thank you guys enough for allowing us to be able to do this. To all of our sponsors, appreciate it as well. The food was so good. Popeyes. We had Mr. Mike's. The sirloin bites were great. Those were gone in 2 seconds. I think Troy brought in some, what did he bring in? A&W?
A&W Buddy Burgers.
Big Dave brought in some Wendy's. Which you basically ate all of.
Oh, gosh. Yes,
yeah,
I did.
Yeah, and then Jay Milne, EST Glue Guy, brought in some chips and dip and stuff. So it was a lot of fun. We also had, for the first time together, the 6 o'clocker lager, which gets going and on sale November 30th at Sobeys and Safeway liquor stores. So check that out. And if you want to check out the launch party for the 6 o'clocker lager, it is on the 29th at Alley Cat in the evening. And we'll all be down there to sample it and to chat and to discuss. And you can ask us any questions you might have or just hang out, have a beer with us, because it's going to be really, really fun and really, really cool. We've got a beer. The Oilers have a win. Oil Country's happy on a Friday. Enjoy it. YouTube, Trev, any final words?
No, that's pretty well it, guys. So just what a great way to finish the day. Thanks to everyone who continued to show your support. It was just unreal. We couldn't do this if it wasn't for you guys. So just an unreal performance from the crew here at EST, and then another unreal performance for the boys in blue, and just awesome. So it was super cool to see. Here's hoping the Oilers can build from this. It's nice to see them all giddy and cheery, but that's one W. That's still a long season. So they put it in the bag and move on to the next one.
Like, share, subscribe, smash that thumbs up button. We are on the march to 6,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're going to get there. We're going to get there before the month's out, for sure. We're 80 subscribers away. So if you haven't already, please do. Tell your friends, all that good stuff. For Matty Kassian and YouTube Trev and the rest of our EST crew, thank you so much for being with us all day long or for a portion of the day. I'm Tom Gazzola saying ciao for now. Talk to you tomorrow.